Islamic community here in America, mainly the African American community. Because before we was dealing with Iqamatul Deen, establishing the Deen. But the Deen has been established in America. But we went through this long period of being diverted from our mission. And what was our goal? Imam Mu'azzin Muhammad set a goal in 1976 in Philadelphia, remake the world. Everybody kind of maybe forgot that, but that was a wonderful idea about remake the world. So revival is for focus at the African American community, mainly like our flyer was, this latest flyer, revival. And revision is for the immigrant community. That they need some redirection. I'll just go on and on. What we want to do with the immigrant community is talk about them becoming, they want to become good Americans. Okay, our goal is to try to shape their ideas about America, the time they're living in, and the possibilities, the opportunities that they have. Remember now, they have a golden opportunity. Those of us who are here can look at this period and we can see a 50-year passage of time, and we can see this as a neo-civil liberties, civil rights period. It's all elements of that. The only thing is this time is bigger and broader. Of course, in those days, it was African Americans who wanted civil rights, equal rights. It was a few Chicanos, you know, they had the brown berets and other things, especially in California. They were liberation orientated. They had a few demonstrations in LA and other places. But this time is like big time. All of the oppression going along on the Mexican border. All the problems that exist in the world today, the people that's hollering the loudest are the ones that created the problems. In Latin America, in Honduras, in Salvador, all of those places, those places have become, some places in Central America, you can almost find, sometimes they find cocaine floating on the, it's so much, they're the new transport. See, first they brought blows straight into America on all the planes and everything. Sometimes they crash land a plane, them old DC-6s and all of that. In Arkansas, they were just, but then America got hot for them coming straight in. So at that time, then they brought them, they sent it through Mexico. That's how the Mexican cartels got so big, because the Colombian cartels brought it to Mexico. They sold it to them, and then they brought it into America. So that's how the Zetas, that's how all of them got big. Okay, so then Mexico got hot. And Mexico have, I hear something like 35,000 killings or something like that. It's all this, So then Central America, all like Guatemala, Salvador, all those places, Honduras, are now trafficking spots. The drug cartels get the local drug cartels, those guys, they get big. They get guns, they get money, and they cause trouble for the people. They scare the people to death. So then the people in all those countries have to come up to the United States. It's like Europe. Europe stole all of the money, all the resources from Africa and the Middle East. So the Africans follow, they say follow the money, right? So all they do when they run to Europe, they follow in the money because they ain't got no money at home. The West don't want them to keep no resource. Africa is still the world's resource house. Same thing with South America. So the U.S., look what they did in Brazil. They got a new election. The president is in jail. He can't write no letters to nobody. I heard he's in solitary confinement, the old president, Lula. Then the woman president is kicked out, and they might as well have Donald Trump in as the president. And in every election they've had down there, that's why they had to get rid of what's the name at the Ecuadorian embassy, because the new president was, the old one was one of the brothers. The new one, he said, hey, y'all gonna hook me up with that loan and I'll give you this guy Assange. It's all regular stuff. The point is, we're in that period of global transition. But this is a period of the greatest opportunity. It's greater than the civil rights era, because that was black people. It's greater even than the decolonization area or period. Because here in America, we got every immigrant family, not only Latinos, which are the bulk. The Latinos passed us up as a big minority 20 years ago. Yeah, 2000 census, it was 39 million apiece, with them having a higher, that's what they were saying, of course they lied. Because all the Latinos, I didn't do a personal count, but it reminded me of Negro count that I did back in the 80s when I drove down I-10 all the way across the U.S., all down in Alabama and Georgia and all that, giving lectures. And I drove up the East Coast. And whenever I could, I would go on Route 1. You know, Route 1 is just like 95. It goes from Maine up there all the way down to Florida. Route 1. But it's the old Route 1. It's the old 95 where they used to have, wasn't big population, they had huge gaps in between. Now it's all filled in by cities. Just like 95 and 40 and all of them, when they opened up 30 and 40 years ago, it wasn't nothing. Maybe at the one exit it'd be a little hotel level. When you travel across the country now, at every exit there's a little city. Okay. So when I came across the country, I realized something when I got to, well, DC did it. Because DC in those days was solid black. I said, good God Almighty. Then the only thing I know about Delaware was it signed the Declaration of Independence and stuff like that. I think it fought on the side of the South or something full of Negroes. In fact, Brother Jamal, one of the last poets, told me he moved to Delaware. I was thinking, man, he's really moved out in suburbia. Delaware, man. I didn't know, you know Delaware. I said, good God Almighty. Now, imagine me. I drive on Route 1 and 13, and then I go, one of them hits Germantown Avenue in Philadelphia, and then I go through New York, and then I go up there, Connecticut. The only thing I heard of Connecticut, Yankee and King Arthur's Court. I never knew. I looked at the Negroes and the Puerto Ricans. What I'm saying is, they said it was 22 million Negroes in. I said, I done seen 22 million Negroes myself. Not coming down from Canada. I went all the way up to Canada, came back, and then I went across, and I looked up Detroit, Chicago. I said, good God Almighty. You can imagine the division then. Now, this time, in the 2000 census, they said that blacks and Latinos was equal. Well, they've doubled up since then, and we haven't. You can see all around it. There ain't no remember they used to have them little clunkers they would push? Now they got big four-wheel drive, they got racks all on, they got everything. Nigga, in fact, they got maybe a little more. If it comes from work, they got it. If it comes from these offices, because the Negroes is working in the offices. Okay. So anyway, we're living at an excellent time. And what we got to sell to the immigrant community is America needs you. Yes. We have to give a social message to the Quran, not vice versa. You know, in other words, the social language has to be sifted through the Quran. So the social message that's sifted through the Quran would answer literally all the problems that they have. America needs you. They have opiates. To them, oh, that's white folks. We'll help them. Yeah. So what it is we have to run all that message. Broken families. Islam pushes families. No problem. Right? So the marriage thing, the family thing, the clean living thing, all that's Islam. Generally, you're not going to get America telling them, you telling the Americans. One reason we pulled back, Alhamdulillah, the title of tonight's picture talk is Guns and the Global Conspiracy. Right? But before that, I want to go into another subject which is very closely related to weapons. Remember, what I want to talk to you when we first tonight is about let's put out a flyer called help. Then I said, drugs and the global conspiracy in conjunction with guns and the global conspiracy. Believe it or not, they have a lot in common. First of all, competency. There's my subconscious telling me. Well, I'll start with one of our old flyers, 1986. They're not going to buy it. It's simple as that. Because you telling a house full of scaredy people that if you stand up for the truth, if you support the truth, you're already hiding. Now, so we give them flyers. All of them deal with my State Islam rated. Poor imam, they say, if that nigga get beat upside the head, what they gonna do to us? Right? So imagine that's what the subconscious is doing. that's why it ain't creative avoidance or nothing. I just said hold it up on that. Why? Look at what we're selling. Think about it. And it was systematic. It wasn't all in one day. It was first we said, we're not going to go out here with boxes. Because no matter what you say, we're going to look like beggars. The niggas is begging. Because niggas, everybody they sent everywhere were beggars to cause trouble for the community. Right? That's why downtown, we might have a box down on the end, so you drop something in there if you like. And we'll have CDs. We'll do the CD for them maybe tomorrow or something. I mean the DVD. That's all we'll have. All the literature, because this thing moves progressively. First I was gonna pull back on one thing and add another, and then up until a minute ago, when we talked about that dawah down there, I had another pattern what we was gonna use for down there. But what the hell? Excuse me, what the heck? So anyway, let me get back to, here's the basic line for the immigrant community. America needs you. This is your old golden opportunity. You want to be an American? They're taking the Americans' free speech. They've already, well, they're not taking anything. They have taken all of the constitutional guarantees that you might have had, or they might have had, or we might have had. If you got a constitutional Bill of Rights guarantee, they got some other little bill that cuts its throat. Or they do it anyway. Right? Now, they did it on us. Everything they did to Black America during the 60s was illegal. Everything they did was illegal. Everything that happened to me personally was illegal. That's why, you know, one of the reasons I came back to this country to fight my case, those doggone law books. I was reading the law books. Because I had all the law books. I studied my case. I had law books, rules of federal criminal procedure, all that stuff I had. I just was loaded with law books. And you read the law, I said, man, they conspired with each other to deny me my civil rights and da-da-da-da. And I should have known better. So I organized my case myself. That's why my case, I fought it first by myself. That's why a lot of the stuff I have, I had the right to order it through the court system. So they had to send it to me. I had all my witnesses together, which was true, but all my witnesses mostly was dope dealers. So the police, the feds went to them and said, so you're going to testify at Big Hank's trial? That's good, that's good. But, you know, you better get a job, because if you ever come out here on the street with any more dope or anything, I would say dope dealers, successful, semi-successful dope dealers, we're gonna lock you up, throw the key away, and we're gonna put you so far back in jail. The white man just said, we got to pump sunshine to you. So they thought about it. They said, well, and then they would mess with money. I think I showed y'all paperwork where they confiscated money. Like I said, I'm half backup lawyers. I had 25 grand. They gave me a thing that said 5 grand. I said, yeah, it's okay. They steal money. Okay. Then the next one was 10,000. I said to one of my partners, dropped off 10 grand down at the booking office. Shoot, by the time that money got warm, before it got warm, they put out another federal something other that taxes, I don't know what it was. I got the paperwork. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is I allowed myself to be taken in by the law books. What the law says. It don't mean it. Now, we already know it don't mean it. We already know about the code. We already know what's lying. But it sounded so good that I said, I'm going to give it a try. Now, it's the best decision I ever made because I came back and then the Islam and all of that. I have no, but the immigrant community, the combination of revival for us, right, and revision for them, in combination, will set the stage for giving each one of us to play the part that we want to play. Number one, from the African American position, we get a chance to finish the civil rights stuff. You know, we get a chance to finish it and polish it up. Our experience will be needed, the Islamic experience, because we already know, at least we do, you can't have no this rights, that right. You can't have nothing without the police sitting in on it. That's why Black Lives Matter, what anything else that they have. We know that a large percentage of the radio and TV commentators, and we know who they are. We mentioned some of our friends, BB, just we see how they do with the little white lady, the cold pink lady, and
Medea.
All of them, and they mention, if you listen on the radio, they'll say you can see how they support each other. The other people don't know that. It's simple. They don't know that. Imagine the job we got to do. We get an opportunity. This is an opportunity. Okay, the background of the other thing that those flyers did, it showed Oakland and it showed us in a different position. We have to, like, when we said this is publicity, you know, that was true. But we have to show it the way we want, when we want. But you know, the main thing that we show is what we've been pushing all the time. I mean, we showed it with character. We showed it with, there's nobody in modern history that wasn't killed by a bullet, but that was beat upside the head that bad. Even a lot of the Negroes, ain't none of them look that bad. Out of all the niggas beat upside the head, water hosed, ain't none of them look we equal with any of them. And we're only one person, but what we're standing on, we will not kill and fight other Negroes, period. We fight when we want, we fight how we want, right? We fight where we want. We don't let them choose nothing. We have really lived up to what we've been talking about 1,000%. Clearly. And those are the things that nobody, they could get a Panther to hate so-and-so, they could get this guy to hate, they could do it easy. What has been the clarion call for me? Everybody wants to help me do away with them. Everybody. I maybe some of them is police. Sure, some of them is police. Some of them are not. But everybody want to do away with those people, physically. And the government want to do away with it because now they passed their youth. They have no more purpose. What could they do? Number one, they lied. It ain't nobody lied about everything and took everything out of context. We don't even have to straighten up the stuff because it's ridiculous. And everybody they use, they talked about parents and their connections and this. I said, this man is crazy. I said, my father ran the gambling house, but he told me, boy, pay the white man his money. My father was telling me to give them their share, and that's what I do. Everybody, you're gonna sell dope, and you're not gonna give the white man his share. That's what you want to do? That's why he was. You got the richest thing going, and you're not gonna give them their share. Is that what it is? He told me, boy, you got to get that white man. It's they from the South, you know, and in every big town, every little town, that was the sheriff, that was the mayor, and my father was one of the main Negroes in the area, in the town. He, Mr. So-and-so, he was, in fact, when he went back to Arkansas once, the big white man in town told him, so-and-so, I miss you more than any nigger that was there. And my brother he's 13 when we left, so he must have been, he was old enough to be mad. He wanted to, my father had told him, what's wrong with you? He just said he missed me more than any nigger. That's what they grew up with. He ain't have no, all he knew is this boy is gonna get us killed, you know, if you scratch that white man. Because they stopped us in Oklahoma when we'd be going to Arkansas. They'd pull over the side of the road, they sit down. From here home, you get out of line, it ain't nothing we can do. You can't be beating up white boys like y'all do in California. You can't, I mean, they would be like pulling out their hair. You cannot do it.
You know, listening, I don't think our immigrant brothers really, they understand Martin Luther King,
right,
but they don't understand that history right there.
Right. No, they don't. They don't. That's why, look, the combination.
Right.
See, we want to help. The things that we have dealt with, we're living the life we want to live. We wanted this. You know what I mean? Like even getting beat upside the head. This is what we wanted because this shows everything is of extreme benefit. And I said, well, shoot, I'll go back to California when I'm totally healed. I mean, I look like everything is fine, but they just operated on me in January. This is February. I mean, it's February, March, and this is April. I said, shoot, I'll go back there as soon as I feel, you know. And I'm getting better. The health is getting better. Over there in the park, running a little bit. You know what I mean? Lifting iron on a semi-regular. I'm getting, but I know what I want to do. I know when the feeling is correct. In other words. So, in combination with our historical reality and the opportunity that they have. See, if they want to be good Americans, they don't know what a good American means. A good American don't put up with what America, a good American challenges the system. Now they got enough people, and now they got so many, they got cover, and they've got the whole thing in their lap. They got the masajid. They put a social message on everything. The Islam takes care of itself. Everything we push in is Islamic, but it don't have an Islamic title. We want to call everybody to Islam. No, you want social justice, right? We'll be, in all our writings, it'll have I stand up for justice, whether it's for against this, for that, for your families, just all that'll be there. But it won't have no Islamic title on it. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is, now, that's not for us, the African American section. We're going to put the title of what we're doing and everything else in what we're doing. Because we got to also call the Negro to this, and our struggle is different. It's not different, it's just another part of what's going on. What we're trying to reach out to is the immigrant community now have the masajid, it has the centers, it has everything now. It calls for social justice, humanitarianism, peace over war, all of those things. That's what they call for. Okay. Doing away with the military industrial complex, all of that stuff. Opiates. See, America is sick. It's sick and it's going down fast. The message is for them, you rescue America. You. That'll make you, well, we got to vote and everything. Well, here's what you do. I know this is going to be hard on you. But everybody's going to find out. Like everything happened in the 60s, everything happened in the Civil War, everybody finds out what happened during a certain period. The system puts it out itself after the so-called danger then passed. The world is going to find out fake news. They're going to realize Don is the head of fake news. You think all them white folks not together? Shoot. Don got $2 billion worth of free publicity. He didn't spend a dime on no media. Right? Everything he said and everything it ain't he got a do anything right. Okay. And we're not dissatisfied, nor are we disappointed that we shouldn't have anything coming from us that gives even a feeling of disappointment. We're really living the life we want to live. Now, you got to look at what so far, we're light years in, the stuff that we've put up with already, it explains clearly. But we're going to explain it in a way to where it's not like they're showing them the picture and they get paranoid. No, we want, in time, we'll bring that stuff back out. But after we've explained over the years what we were doing, but we can explain now that we have the ability to sustain ourselves. We want to let them know that just a minute, if you don't have fear and what have you, you can do something here in America. One writer, what was he called? Fear. False evidence appearing real. Fear. False evidence appearing real. F-E-A-R, fear. If you stand up against the United States, you're going to have this and that happen to you. Well, this and that don't technically have to happen to everybody. But if you're conditioned to that false evidence appearing real, you'll never do anything because simple fear. So it's the same war we've always been fighting. Self-image psychology, all of those things are the same. That we have to work with people on, and we have to continue to work with ourselves on. Those things are real. Okay. So, the crackpots, we don't have we don't have a whole lot of time for them, this transition. What we're going to do, I'm not going to talk about exactly how, but we're going to go back to Oakland. We're going to do what we have to do. It'll be almost like a move back there, and I'll come here every now and then. But we're going back there, and we're going to take care of all the things that we want to take care of. And that's technically nothing they can do about it because they've already done what they did. Okay. So remember, we've stood the test of time. I can't relate to the people here the stuff that we've all put up with, but we have never succumbed to girls. We've never succumbed to wealth or anything. It's just like when we just talked about feeding the people down there. We didn't say we better have a fundraiser. Well, we got the money. Okay, everybody who knows us knows that's been the position. It's always a position. Okay, that we're going to do something for other people. We don't demand that other people do nothing for us. We never have. People say we should, but look, Allah is clear in the Quran. You can't do nothing good without a reward coming for that good. It's just the way it is. So we've stood the test, girls, money. We know the value. That's the game. That's the game help, man. The game, when I say the game. By the way, a good friend of mine passed away last week. Willie Ward, he was the last of the Ward brothers to pass away. He was about 81. And before the government took my little money that I wanted to give him a little package. And that's why anytime you want to do something, you should do it then and not wait. Because he didn't even remember when I reminded him. One night we was down at California Hotel. He had his friend and we was at my Broham's. So he had Doc was with me, that's my friend. It was Ali King was his friend. Discipline of saving money, but we're just on a spree. Now everybody else on that spree, when that spree is over, they look up, everything would be gone. This happens to Hollywood, it happens to everybody. They get on a blow street, of this street, and they look up, and everything is gone. So we finished up one little package, and I looked around. I said, "Got any more of that thing back there?" So Willie Ward told me, he said, "If you keep that up, you won't be captain of the ship." I didn't play like I didn't hear it. When I got home, I went straight to the hills the next morning, and straight back to the iron pile. When I come to the nightclub, I'd have a tight t-shirt on and a Hamburg hat. In 1 week, I locked up all the blow, all the cocaine. I locked up everything. Ask anybody there, I locked it all up. The party is over. I would come by all the management team to pick them up to go to the hills, and they wouldn't answer the door. And them big old Cadillacs in those days had air ride, and if you just got home, it would be go it'd be them load levelers would be, and you could hear it. The other thing is you put your hand on the engine, and that boy would be hot, the hood, put your hand in this boy. Y'all in there now. Once in a while you could get them out, but they'd be hiding. But I wasn't. I was going to them hills, and I was working out. And I remembered, he didn't, Willie Ward never remembered what he said. He just thought this was just game he was talking about. Keep that up, you're going to be captain of the ship. That was my last supper, blow. That's it. And I stayed like that. I mean, even when I was in South America, I didn't go crazy. That fixed me good. And whatever I did, I was still going to them hills every morning in South America and everything. Anyway, where was I at? So I want to mention that we never fell for anything. I mean, little bitty stuff. I was telling y'all before about, I was running in the hills one day and go around the loop sometime. And the white man and the white woman, this police, both of them polices. The white girl ran right around in front of me and stopped where I could still see her and bent over to tie a shoe, pretending to be tying a shoe. And that girl bent over, she crossed her leg like that. And I could see up in her vagina, up in that. Well, I said, this is the nicest looking vagina I've seen. That is a nice, they must have picked her vagina out of it. They had to have something where everybody had to show their thing. And then I'm telling you, I said, that is, now I'm unmarried now for 13 years at that time. I'm really unmarried. And first of all, don't nobody believe it. Everybody's looking in every wood pile they can. They said, there's a nigga in the wood pile somewhere. That's the whole saying. In other words, this nigga is celibate. I don't believe it. And they, look here, about 15 years, and at the choice time, when you juiced up and full of juice, and I just didn't want to be married. I've had too much to do. So that stuff would happen all the time. I could tell you a million. I couldn't mention nothing. I remember I was telling y'all one time about me and the Negroes sitting next to me. We was talking about Negro women with hair on their legs. White girls shave their hair, and how that hair on their legs make your flesh crawl almost. Be so stimulating. I'm telling you, it couldn't have been no more than 2 days later. A Negro woman walked in with a dress up to here and had the hairish leg. They have to have a show or something where they walk by. You know what I mean? Down at the police station, they must have a list. Who's got the hairiest legs out of all our Negro women? hairy, shapely legs. Because that's what that was. And I said it 2 days before. I've been going, I could talk about this stuff all day long. If I talk about in 1990, I'm going to the ISLA convention. And the brother said, you can use my car. So I filled that boy up with books, jumped in the car, and all of a sudden, the car at right point front wheel, whatever it did, it took me off the highway. I didn't get hurt then. I got hurt when I stepped in that big hole. It was dark, still dark, or darkish. That big hole, 6 foot deep. You know, the grass that grew over that boy. When I hit the bottom, I said, that's it. That boy is broke. Anyway, this stuff happens all day, all the time. If I'm up there on 8th Street, here come the police with dogs sniffing all around because they don't know. The little house used to be next door that we had to iron in. They didn't know what we did there. So they thought we hid something there. So here come the marshals with the dogs sniffing all in there. What y'all doing? We looking for somebody to run away from law. I said, y'all must be. Anyway, I'm trying to tell you, this is stuff, it's constant. But we have evolved to being able to manipulate that. You know, there's a little confession I want to make to everybody, not Catholics, of course. But do y'all know what Trekkies are? Trekkies. Yeah. Well, technically, I'm a Trekkie. No, in '69 and all, in '70, my TV, I had a big office in my office. Every day at 4 o'clock, I watched Star Trek. I watched Star Trek. I don't know why I watched it, but I liked it. Have you ever heard of Future Shock? The book called Future Shock. It's an old book, Alvin Toffler. I would say 1970 or 71. Yeah, Future Shock. I read all those books. And I also have always thought in, well, you can see we think about what we're doing, but other worlds beyond the one we're living in, and possibilities. So it's not abnormal for me as a personality to look above and beyond all this stuff that we have here. And also to see it differently. This historical present that we're living in. Okay, so I'll try to wrap it up. Number one, we control how we fight, when we fight, and where we fight. And I have big, big, big. No nigger, never killing. That means we never killed a nigger in our life. Never. Never even beat one up. Now, I know that's how I put all the big gang and all that stuff. You would think that we were like the other dudes. We wasn't like that. Now, my team was, but as I was saying a couple of years, I said, you know, we never even beat nobody. He said, yeah, but we was ready. I said, yeah, but what's the necessity? The thing is, you make it possible for everybody to get rich. That's the thing they don't like. And this second thing is, no killing other niggas. We proved that. We proved that through decades of fitna, things that we never fell for any one of these. We didn't say it then, but we knew that these so-called attacks from on the hill and all around here, was the government trying to get us to fight niggas. As soon as we start fighting the niggas, they can do anything they want because we fighting the niggas. That's why we never, and the people that was ready to fight in here in the masjid, fixing their gun, here they at now. Nobody that was barking up the fight war tree is here. Nobody. But they were all ready to put their lives on the line for those things. We thank Allah. Look, if you're not halfway honest and sincere, I don't think nobody would make it even close to this far. I don't think it's possible. Because they had an old saying, there's too many ways to be a fool, to duck 'em all. That means there's too many tricks up the white man's sleeve. That if you've got any corruption in you, the white man has tazkiyah bil nafs for you. Purifies you. That's what he do, all of this. It purifies you. Look at here, you want to be squeaky clean? Challenge the system. You're going to be squeaky clean or dead. That's the rule. You're going to be squeaky clean. He's going to clean you up now. Don't you worry about that. Or he's going to set you up to finish you off. And literally anything you do, this thing about when the Quran mentions those people with sabr and endurance and all of that, that's true. Without patience, constancy, you'll never make it. Let me see, what kind of Negroes are they? Well, the people will ask about the Negroes. We don't have to bother with I told Khadijah and Mukhtar when they started this, I said, it was in the masjid, I said, have a seat up here. I said, now just listen to me. When all this is over, I'm going to help y'all. You know, helping you good. I said, I'm still going to help you. Don't make no difference what you're doing. I'm going to help you. I said, because you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing, and the people know what you're bait. And not very bright bait. You know, bait ain't known for having sense. And what we say every week, I said bait. There's no good end for bait. Bait. You either kill the bait when you put the squeezing the worm or whatever on the hook, right? It's gonna die. I said, if it's another fish or mackerel or something, and they put it on it, they gonna kill it when they put it on the hook. I said, so there's no good outcome for bait. I said, y'all are bait. Both of y'all is bait. You just bait. But you're human bait that might be a shot for you. I said, if it has anything to do with me, I said, I'm gonna help you. That's what I told them. 2000, end of 2013, maybe the beginning of 14. That's what I told them. That's 5 or 6 years ago. So, that's what I meant. And we're not going to talk about them a whole lot. Because we have to think about the possibilities that we have. And some white man said on a thing yesterday that people spend 46% of their time thinking about the past or in the future, things that they can't do nothing about. You know, and all of us think about some of the things that happen, but we look at it as lessons learned. Lessons learned from the past, we project it into the future. If we've learned this, that's the difference between 46%. That we learn, we're using what we have acquired. Inshallah. Okay. Conscious decision. So a lot of this comes from unconscious consciousness. When we started out in the beginning, after coming back from California, and we fixed the flyers and everything, and we started putting the flyers out, we said we need another flyer to say help, and we need this flyer we're going to put on the boxes. And all of a sudden, we looked at the boxes and we never used the boxes. Then the flyers would help on it. We never used them. We might have had them out one time. Finished. All the other stuff related to that, we closed up. The pictures, bop, bop, bop. I'll leave one down there for a little while longer. But other than that, we'll put the ones we got, we'll put left over, we'll put them away. The CDs we got on folders, we'll put them away for a while. Then I gotta get old. Why? Because this is a different time. Subconscious consciousness says, and that takes time. You can't just do it overnight. You know, certain things is easing up. It's just simple. If you show the immigrants all them pictures, and they're true pictures, and it says that the police do this and they do what they want to you who's a citizen, what do you think they're going to do? Right? Think about it. This is ridiculous.
How can they, I mean, of course they see it happen to you, but now it's being played on TV that they see what to do with Julian Assange.
Okay.
It doesn't matter either.
No, it doesn't matter. But see, here's the thing. Julian Assange is a white boy, and they gonna say Julian Assange is not necessarily a Muslim. Everything Julian Assange said was right. Everything. Chelsea, what is the guy? Isn't he in jail now? I watched him shoot from the helicopter, kill all them people.
Right.
Everything that, it's not only that. Do you know there's billions that must be, you can't go through all of that stuff, but none of it have been proved wrong.
Right.
None of it have been proved wrong. You know, that's good, because it shows the white folks being oppressed, and you got no way out. Truth has no barrier on anything, and everything will be manipulated and fixed and swayed and done, calls Netanyahu. Okay, so who controls the American government? Netanyahu. See, all of that's clear. Netanyahu and the Saudis, remember how long did we say all of that stuff? We said it till our mouth was turned white. I'm telling you. All of it, this happens in history all the time. All of a sudden, click, it clicks and everything is clear. That, we don't know whether it's next week, next month, or next year. But this thing is close. It's going to click, and when it clicks, that last number in the combination, remember, it's like a combination. They got this over here, Assange over there, Chelsea Manning over there. They got the border being all screwed up. With the U.S. is the one, they cut off all the help to the people, and then they can't have, how they going to solve any problems they kill all of your leaders. Like here, they kill the leaders, they kill them down there too. Except they kill them more ruthless down there. Or they got somebody in the army to kill you. Or they got somebody in the Navy to kill you. Or they got a rival to kill you, right? They got that going on all over the world. Just like colonialism and civil rights click all at one time, it's going to click this time. It's something that you can depend on. It's going to click. And when it clicks, everything opens up. You say, oh, that's what it was. In the meantime, that's where sabr comes in. That's where real long-range patience and endurance and stickability and tenacity, all of that come in, because you don't know when it's going to happen. But you get the reward whether it happened in your time or in a future time. If Allah tells that to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what about me and you? Whether we show you all of this in your lifetime or we postpone it, this is it right here. You see what I mean? So, and everybody can see that Ecuador had a good president, a revolutionary president, a leftist. And he's not there anymore. How did he get not there? How did the past president of Brazil, the president of this, the latest president of Brazil, how did they all get charged? And you remember that it was a cutie pie woman that was down there in Brazil, all rah, 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 bam! She pops up dead. You see? And then Donald Trump Jr. is now the dictator of Brazil. What's the name? They got 2 or 3 other countries where there's dictators. They're trying to get rid of Maduro and Venezuela. All of that will click. And it's the same way. At one time, it would all become clear to everyone. Okay. So what we have to do is persevere and maintain an attitude. See, attitude is going to determine a lot of what happens from our perspective. And since it's our attitude, we can choose which one we're going to have. A good, healthy, wholesome attitude about all of this. It don't make no difference. Look, whatever go on, we got it as good as anybody in the world. We're right here putting this stuff on these things right here. We're not hungry. Nobody here is hungry. And the worst thing that happened to me is I got beat upside the head. How many niggas got beat upside the head last week at the police stations around the country? A whole bag full, right? So, nothing happened to me abnormal. Nothing. Actually, I'm just about happy as I can be. Because that's as far as they can go without just being out in the open, right? Too far out in the open. Hey man, this is all sweet. So, recapture our birthright. This is our birthright, what we do Islamically in America. Negative is normal. Negative is normal. Most people think negative, hope negative, read negativity. They push negativity. But we got too many things going. The world, it's not only opiates, climate change, artificial intelligence, all the things that people need, the things that need solved, will not be solved as long as there's money in it. So the thing we have to remove is the money and substitute a higher form of motivation. That's possible. That's what possibility thinking is. Okay. We don't have to talk anymore about nonviolent resistance, but are there any questions or any comments so far? We just will not be provoked, that's all. We're not going to be provoked by, by bait. The bait don't do nothing but this bait. It don't put nothing on the thing. The bait don't catch nothing. It gets caught by something. Those people, they've missed their calling. If I would mention anything, it would be nonviolent resistance. But remember, alternative resistance. This is a big opportunity. And I'll actually close with this. If you have opportunities, why not take them? This is a small chance. Is one thing, but what about nobody even expected to see you in the Super Bowl, and there you are. Like that team, what was that, Virginia just won last, they just throwed the ball up in there and it happened to go in. Now then they went somewhere else and won whatever that was, I guess. Nobody expected them to be there. And probably they didn't expect to be there either. Okay. If we would have gone over all our histories as individuals and as a collective, none of the futurist thinkers would have put us all in here at this time with these goals in mind. They just wouldn't have did it. They wouldn't have did it because of the environment. Niggas are not made like that. They can't do it. You know what I mean? Like J. Edgar Hoover said, it's be hard to put a pants on the elephant as it would for the Negro to practice true Islam. True Islam, halal and haram and all that. He just didn't believe it. Okay, so he didn't believe it, and he's going to use his governmental power to make that come true. Remember, they believe in making things come true. They got a picture of what they want on this earth, and they work toward it hard, and they work at it all the time. So we're going to need a lot of help. Now, I'll close with this. Since Allah made us and them and the environment, our only alternative is to call on Allah. Do you think we're far-fetched enough to think that we can sit here and sell wolf tickets at the white man just because we're right all the time? This takes divine intervention. All of this is predicated on divine intervention. By Allah's hand being on this. Sometime, one of the biggest things is to be amongst your people, and for them to know this, and for you to know this, and everybody to know this, and they just sit there and watch. And it takes a lot of, that takes more. That takes a lot of everything. It takes, it gets to, when will there be an awakening? You could almost ask, will there be an awakening? How much information does it take? Or are we wrong? Is our goals wrong? and murder everybody he does. To run him off the railroad track. Does a white man deserve that? Sometimes question. Well, if this stuff is halfway right, which we seem to think it might have some right in it, you know, there's certain mathematics involved. There's mathematics. Everything is a team effort. The bigger the team, the more efficient and effective. Then there's another thing. After complete clarification, when do the human mind, so I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to take a chance. Everything is a chance. The people that don't want to take a chance, you can live a civil servant's life without taking too much chance, but you just die. When you die, you're just like somebody working the post office. He just goes, drive around town a little bit and then dies. You ever see the old Negroes driving the Cadillacs and everything? That's what they do. They retire and they die. Civil servants retire and die. That's what they do. Now, they don't get too far. You don't get above, you know, carrying mail or a police officer, somebody that's not too bright. That's as far as you get. You don't get no further than that. Hell, they can't, they don't, if you want to become a better human being, you have to sometimes throw off the shackles of slavery. So all it is modern slavery. It's a man, I think. The brother is right. And then if you're the type of person that you only ask for 10%, you know, we used to use this term, chicken shit. Boy, if a nigga can't give you 10% on the slide or something like that, that's what we used to call chicken shit. I mean, what else, you know, is with everything there, like, you know, it's damn near impossible for all this stuff to come true without some help coming from somewhere. Yeah, sure, there's a little help here, coming through under the door. But there comes a time when it takes big help. You know, 4 or 5 people can change the world. There's no doubt about that. They can affect things that's okay. Are there any questions or any comments?
Yeah, actually, I had a question. So I was wondering, like, why is it always seems like it oftentimes seems like with any type of group, let's take the Muslims, for example, where you have one group that wants to try to implement an agenda that's kind of close to what they say they are, what they call themselves. Say Muslims, you know, a group of Muslims want to implement an Islamic agenda for something happening. Why is it that people, it seems to be historically and even now, why is it that it's always, let's say, the Muslims that seem to come out and force against it, against, say, an Islamic agenda?
No, it's not. It's against right. If you want to come out, I don't care if you got a political agenda and you want to do right. That was one man back in Roosevelt's time. Henry Wallace. Y'all ever heard of Henry Wallace? Henry Wallace was vice president, but in 1944. The Democrats got rid of him and brought in Truman. Because everybody knew that Roosevelt looked like he's ready to die, so we don't want him. Henry Wallace was what you would call a good white man. He was very social in his approach. I mean, he really, he had a good human agenda. It's surprising he ever got that far. It's just shocking. When you listen to him, when you watch what he did, You can see it if you can get on there. It's Untold American History. You ever seen that?
I think I've heard of it.
Yeah, Untold
I'm fairly certain
American
I've heard
History.
of that before.
Yeah, it's yeah. If you watch Untold American History, you would see. His name was Henry Wallace. He was vice president, and he used to be secretary of something or other during the Roosevelt administration. In fact, he was with Roosevelt all the time from 32 all the way up. He was a good man. But all the Democrats, they did the crookedest things to make sure he didn't get in there, because the world would have been altogether different if he would have got in. No Cold War, no this, no that. So now, about agendas. And whether it's Muslims or non-Muslims, if you look in America, if you look around the world, they have, let's say, Ikhwana Muslimin, they have Jamaat Islami, you know, Pakistan, they have, okay. So what has happened with the Muslims is the Muslims have adopted groupism and regionalism over Islam. If you notice, like, we tried to tell Ikhwan when they came over here and visited Obama, hey man, they gone, you gotta watch out. They just looked at us like this, they did, you don't know nothing about none of this. Remember we talked about evolution, and we said the Muslims are evolving, but history is traveling at 100 miles an hour and they're traveling at 30 or 40. They're evolving, but it's behind the curve. Right here in America, like one of the imams out in one other place, I ain't gonna call his name. Remember the brother I was telling you about, that I was supposed to make an announcement at his masjid? And he said, oh no. Then he wrote it on the wall. I came back the next time. Oh, is that true? What happened? Where? I said, see right there, you got it wrote on the wall. So the Muslims will let the organizational leader steal their akira from them. That's deadly. The Muslims in America right now are more concerned with their group than they are with Islam. That's why we have what we have. But remember, on the day of judgment, Allah's going to be there. These people ain't going to be able to help us. That's why our whole agenda is pointed toward Islam. Therefore, you will be isolated, cut off, and everything else. But remember, all of this stuff is coming to a head. Remember we talked about Julian Assange, we talked about the Muslim groups and organizations, we talked about Donald Trump, Netanyahu. All of that is like a combination of things. One day soon, and we don't know when, that's when Sabr comes in. As-Sabiqun Jamilan, of beautiful patience. That all that stuff is like a combination, like it's gonna click, and everything, everybody will see everything. It's clear. Didn't it happen during the colonial period and the civil rights period? During the 50s, we was like back in there, I don't know what we was thinking about. They call the 50s the golden 50s here in America. You know, the roaring 20s, the golden 50s, the war 40s. Out in California, it was nice. It was actually nice. Although we was oppressed, but hell, we was less oppressed in California than down in Dixie, because we all came from the South, right? Can you imagine you out there in California? And it is so strange. You know, the girls, could get on welfare in those days. And the men could work at the cannery. So they would work at the cannery like during these months, you know, like you see Del Monte Label and all that. They all was in California those days. So they could work at the cannery. They worked overtime, all that fruit and all them veggies coming off the line. So they would earn enough to draw what we call po' boy. That was unemployment. And the girl would get welfare. Po' boy in those days was $55 a week. You didn't make but $100 a week in a factory, right? So you would get $55 a week for most of the year, because you could get an extension. You get 13 weeks, 26 weeks, and then you can get an extension on unemployment, right? It was nice, and all the factories had jobs everywhere. You could walk out of one factory into another factory and get a job. DC was probably the same, I don't know. That was in those days. To your original question, why is it that if you try to have the right line, that Muslims work against you, if it's a Muslim agenda? Well, that's true in all agendas. First of all, the American Muslims who are immigrants here. Remember we've been talking about immigrants, and remember what we were talking about, the immigrants? We want the immigrants to feel like this is your opportunity to be a true American. How? It's by making America better. Then the people will love you. They won't say you're a foreigner then. But you think they're going to see that? They're going to see it after 100 years maybe. But we don't know. That's what we're going to try. But remember, we're what the business called risk takers. We would rather risk this jahiliyyah than risk the akhirah. That's a big risk. That's a big risk. Risking going to the other side, down below, all that heat and stuff down there. I'm trying to tell you this. The groups here, how is it that we could be cut off from every group? How is it? How is that? I mean, how, you got to ask the question. If 10 years ago we was in, 10, 15 years ago, what is it? Places full, every demonstration we're there, because that's what was happening at that time. 20 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, they were having demonstrations. It was all right. After 9/11, it ain't all right. After 9/11, it ain't all right. In fact, it's bad business. And look at the programs we have. Why we wouldn't be cut off and isolated? Look at here. How to punk the FBI. You know anybody had a program with this name? The FBI is a bunch of punks, and we make fun of them. To show you they're paying attention, punk the FBI, Imam FBI. He's saying this is when they kick you out, when they don't let you go somewhere. What is it? When I couldn't go to London, I was banned. I still am banned. I'm banned from going there. And these white folks here is the ones that told the white folks over there, because they say, that's what they say. It says that. It says, punk the FBI, Imam Abdul Musa gets punked by, of course they say Britain, but who told them? The British is paying that much attention to us? Triangle of Terror, the Zionists, Saudi Arabia, and America. Message of solidarity to the Hidayah Conference. You may not believe this, but this was do you remember the Hidayah Conference? The one they had out at, what's it, Dallas? Yeah, they had a Hidayah Conference down there. They didn't have us there. They had, what's the long bearded imam? I ain't gonna say his name. I ain't gonna backbite. Open letter to the people of Oakland. Letter of introduction to DC area churches. This right here is over 10 or 12 years old, but it is an answer. This flyer right here is the one that talks about when we say nonviolent resistance, we say alternative nonviolent resistance. This is alternative. It says that people that love Muhammad, that love Musa alayhi salam, that love Isa alayhi salam, will make the changes in this world. Because they have the people, they have the money, they have the organization, right? And they have also the system, love your neighbor, you know, the belief system. So we believe that religion, and we didn't leave nobody out basically, we say we want to create an environment that Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad, peace be upon them all, would be happy with. That's what this says. They're not going to say that. I'm just telling, I'm answering the question. Repunk the FBI. We have here our Declaration of Independence. It sounds pretty nice. Not too bad. So we reach out to, we got a stack of flyers here. All we got is flyers. We got what we would like to see, the global strategy of Islam. You see anybody else got a global strategy of Islam that's workable? They don't have it. They're not thinking about it. They're thinking small. The Muslims are very small-minded in America. And the ones that got the most are thinking the smallest. They got joints that's full. They having 3 and 4 Jummahs, 3 Jummahs at a lot of places. From all the places we went to, almost every one of them had 2 or 3 Jummahs, right? Everyone, they had 3, in fact, most of them. Yeah, they had 3 Jummahs. It's unbelievable. But what are they saying in there? You go in there in the masjid and you would be, you said, what are they talking about? The people are being slaughtered in Yemen. They don't mention it. The people are being slaughtered. Palestine, they just said, you can have the Golan Heights, you can have Jerusalem, da-da-da-da-da. That's what the Zionists said. The American Zionists, right? What we're trying to say is all of that is happening right now. And I'm sorry to say, we're the only ones saying anything about it. Like I said, the Pakistani guy came in here the other day at Juma. Remember what he said? Well, what are you doing in the community? I think he said, wait, man, when we got here, the whole place was a dope spot over there. And, you know, everything was, we stood there, and what's the name, with the flyers. We used to stand there, and the cars come out of the dope house. I'm telling you, they drove, it was like Safeway or something, right over there.
It sure was.
And we give them off. Hey, and now everybody, what are you doing for Islam? I had to say, hey man, we ain't doing a whole lot. But anyway, so in answer to that question, because that's a deep question, the other part of the answer is what? Okay. As a group, let's go back to some of the stuff that is there any, let me just look at this thing here. Okay, that really happened. That really happened. That, right? We know that happened. We know because when I got here, back here, they had to put me in the hospital. Now you just think a senior citizen, not that I'm that old, but I'm 74 years old, and nigga busted me up, the people, which we love. They busted the fat off of my head. You could see chips of my flesh. Remember that? If you look close on the picture down there, there's a piece of meat. They was whooping at the brother, and we love him for it. We do. All this, Imam Abdullah Musa facing attacks and death threats. All of those are true. There's witnesses to everything. Okay? Sabotage, death threats against Imam Musa, and grand larceny. The Bank of America has never given, you won't hear about it till we get them in court. They have never given an account to somebody else that's in there in somebody else's name with just a piece of paper. The court said, last year, in fact, it was last April, the court said that it was a computer-generated document. All of this. This gives you an idea. The revolution from Egypt to the Americas. This gives you an idea. Just what's going on. Imam Jamil, Imam Luqman, and me. This is clearly a warning. If you don't straighten up, nigga, you're in trouble. Well, we would rather be in trouble with the Americans than to be in trouble with Allah. That's the whole point. And I close with this. You see, we live in, I hate to repeat myself, but we're living in a great time. The whole world is here at our disposal. But we're going to have to work for it. We're going to have to work for it. And it's going to take strong belief. You know, the one I would like for you, for the next time when we do a recording, is to put, you remember this, when Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui was speaking about and saying, okay, now, let me ask you something. If Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui was saying the things he was saying about me, I didn't even know. I had forgot that he was, maybe I walked over here, but I didn't remember he said, maybe I just wasn't paying no attention. But do you think the people in South Africa didn't hear that? If they heard it, why did they respond the way they did? Why did they respond the way they did? We got stuff, look, this is from South Africa. It looks like I'm running for president, right? Imam Abdullah Musa. It's articles in the newspapers. It's not all about my subject, selling drugs, large amount of drugs. That's my subject. That's what I did, right? So when I speak about it, I'm speaking as an expert on the subject, not as a visitor. Okay, all of this, why nobody, you know, the hadith is clear. If your brother is hurt, then you got it, all of that stuff. Why nobody seems to be feeling the pain or interested? That answers the question. It's because, remember, the subject about fear, what did we call fear? Is false evidence appearing as real, right? Everybody believes America. They believe it. They believe it. They don't. Everybody, not everybody, but the immigrant community believes America is a spot to be. They just believe that. They act like it. Okay. The Negro community, the black community, have allowed their birthright to be stolen by the, when you were younger, when you came up in that, did you have a little feeling of mission of the Imam Mu'tadim Muhammad, that was some light mission going on in there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was.
That was a purpose.
It was purpose. Yeah.
There was a purpose for being there. Okay. You feel that now?
No.
You don't feel that now?
I'm trying to find it. Well, I'm looking for it amongst, you know.
The point is that that answers your question. And I'll finish with this. Our dilemma is to help both communities. Remember, revision of one community. Revision of one community. And what did we say now? Revival of the other. Revival of our community. We have to revive our community. And, you know, there's certain rules. If you go out first in any enterprise, you could get run over by a train, you're a pioneer. That's what As-Sabiqun means. Pioneer, vanguard. As-Sabiq, they went in the race. That's what I, you know, I want to say this. I think we're living up to our name more and more and more. Because they duck when they wasn't expected to duck. They say stuff before you can stop them. That's what the dictionary says As-Sabiqun do. As-Sabiqun, they go out ahead of everybody else. They make the race, they win the race, and in some cases they do what has to be done and they go on about their business before anybody else even recognizes what should be done. That's our job here in America. I think we're doing a wonderful job. And that's the way we feel. Are there any more questions? Any more comments? Okay. Alhamdulillah. Okay.